Today at Woodturning, we're going to work with this 70-pound piece of crotchwood.
Tim's American Beauty was made by Robust Tools, America's premier lathe manufacturer. Quality hardened tool rests and live centers too. Robust. Built to turn wood. Enjoyed for a lifetime.
Easy Wood Tools, best-in-class carbide wood turning tools. If you remember, about a year ago, a friend of ours, Kevin, gave us a call and said, hey, I've got this gigantic redbud tree I need taken down. So he wanted some free labor and we got some free wood. And if you remember right, we cut off a bunch of burls. And these are some of the remaining burls that we got off of it. And I was kind of questionable about some of them were burls or just scars, so I don't know if there's great wood in them. But if you look up at this one here, we ran into a problem. This ring-like crack is called wind shake. And this happens when a tree is buffeted by really, really strong winds, and it's so strong that the rings get separated in the tree, they become weak. So as this slowly dries out, we've had this sealed and we've been letting it season, the rings just keep cracking. So you see we've got this here, and then on the other pieces it's showing up too. So to try to turn these right now would be kind of dangerous because we don't know if those are going to fly apart. So we did have this one little piece of wood left, and that is this gigantic piece of crotch that we got from the tree. This is a big heavy sucker. I do not want to put all 70 pounds of this on my lathe. And you can notice here, this is sealed with latex paint because we forgot to load it up the day we did the tree. So Kevin was nice enough to paint this and save it for me until I could get by and get it. So what we want to do is figure out what we're going to do, and by doing that, first thing I'm going to do is just take it to the bandsaw and whack some parts off. Everybody needs a set of discs because when you're working with big green wood, you can place these on top of the wood. It helps you with your bandsaw, and these are just, you know, thick plastic, and if I cut them it doesn't hurt anything. Well, obviously I'm going for the big one right off the bat. So this is 12 inches, and I probably could even go bigger, but I'm not going to kill myself hopefully this time. So what I'm trying to do, this is hard to see, but I'm trying to center this on the wood, and then I'm going to take this screw here and just put this in. Since this is lumpy and crooked and everything like that, I'll just stay a little wide of this disc as I cut, and you can see I've kind of picked the flattest side to put on the bandsaw. Now the one issue you're going to run into is something this big, go in there, is going to be a little sketchy. I mean, you have to really, really move slow with the bandsaw. So probably what I'm going to do is whack this end off first and then nibble my way in. It's not going to be a one-cut thing. We're going to take our time and be safe. Now, if you have any way whatsoever to build a jig when you're cutting big wood like this, that's great. I couldn't figure out what to build for this one. I have this great 18-inch throat here, which lets me do really tall wood. But when you're doing that, you've got all this flex in this blade, and you have to be very careful that you don't bend the blade and break it off. And this one's expensive. I bought a carbide tip blade the other day, and I'm in love with it. But it's 200-something bucks, so if I break it, I'm in trouble. But what I want to do now is I cut a flat bottom on this side, so now I can set this upright, and I'm going to come through here and cut a flat side here. Then when I roll this back over to start doing the circle, I'm on a flat surface. Also, I'm leaving some of the shavings underneath because it helps slide a little bit. They're nice and pushy that way. So here we go. Again, take it slow and watch that angle of that blade as you're cutting. You don't want it to flex. And by the way, I put gloves on just to be careful in case that blade did break. I've got a little protection. Ah, gross. He came out of the hole up here in the wood. Oh, yeah, come on, get on here. You're gonna go for a ride. Oh, trust me, I'm your friend. Believe me, I'm your friend. I've been working on the boring stuff off camera. We have drilled a hole on this side for the worm screw, but you can see I had to take a Forstner bit and clear out this so I could have clearance between this and the jaw so it's not hitting. We did that on a burl the other day too. Over here on this end now, I've drilled a 3/4 inch hole that my live center is going to go into. That gives me the ultimate security as this is spinning. Anything goes wrong, there's really no way it can pop off there. Knowing me, we'll figure that out and how to do it. The other thing to check on this is you're going to see some cracks. Like that's the pith of a branch, right? That's not a bad thing, but guess what? We figured out where the wind shake came from. This branch. So that is wind shake there. So we'll keep a real close eye on that as we're turning. Over here, we've got a big old fissure, but that's just part of the tree. That's nothing I'm really worried about. But we will start this up very slowly with a face mask and it's going to take a while to chip away at this slowly to get it cleared off. It's going to be different because we have side grain like a regular tree, but then we have end grain, and then we have end grain, and then we have end grain, and then we have end grain. So it is not an easy challenge. Whole idea is you want to just sneak in there and feel for the wood. See, it's ticking now. So I'm just going to slide over. I'm looking at my horizon on top to see how much wood I'm removing. So I'm about 1/4 of an inch here. But see, you get in a hurry, you get in trouble, so you just gotta lock yourself in, let your body shift, don't use your arms. And I'm only gonna do a little bit at a time. I'm not going across the whole surface. I just want to get this bottom part done. It's gonna take a while before we can pick the speed up on this. I'm so glad I've got a robust lathe because this thing weighs 700 and something pounds, so it's really helping me out. If I was on a lighter lathe, I don't think I could do this project at all. Somebody once said that life's too short to turn ugly wood. But honestly, to me, turning ugly wood is the best thing on earth. So we must be in heaven right now because I have more issues with this piece of wood than anyone I've ever turned. We have rot here. This is just flaking out. So that's going to be something to deal with. Then as we come here, we got crack. We got pith cracks. I can live with those things. That's not bad. But we come here now. This and this I do believe is wind shake. It's interesting. And this here I know is wind shake right here. That wants to just separate out. More pith there. And then look, we've got a gap here. So if this is the bottom of the bowl, there's going to be a chance we have side right here, then a hole right there. So this is going to be a real joy to turn. I thought we could just turn it from beginning to end, but this is soaking wet. And if we did that, by the time I came out tomorrow, I'd have four separate pieces of wood. So we're going to work this down and we're going to do what we call the bagot plan. So we want to shape this thing, make it a certain thickness all the way through, and then put it in a plastic bag for a good 2-3 months or so, or a paper bag, and get it to dry. But let's have some more fun because our next step is we want to put a tenon on this end. With all this wood being so weird, I'm not going to do a recess. I don't want pushing out. I want to clamp onto something. So to work on this, I'm going to nibble my way in from the side. I'm not going to make any grandiose big cuts. I don't need them. And I'm still going at a slow speed, so I just got to take small amounts of wood off. I have the belts on my lathe on the motor and pulleys. I have them loose because this thing has all the strength in the world. This is a 3 horsepower motor with a lot of torque. If I got a catch, and I could hurt the wood, I could hurt everything else, but if I get in here really hard, that's not the motor slowing down. That's my belt slipping. It's kind of a safety thing. So if you're scared about big wood, you know what I mean. This is one way of mitigating the dangers of it, or the scary part of it. So I've got my tenon here. And now I have this big, I don't know, it looks kind of like a spittoon right now. I want to work on it and get the shape the way I want it, but I also want to preserve these knots here. I think I can curve into this, and they're still going to be there. They came from the center of the tree, but if they start to disappear, I'm going to alter the shape. What I think I'd like to do then is this thing, bring it to where it kind of curves over on the top too. I think that'd be cool. So that's going to take a little while, and I'm going to do some trusty pull cuts to work my way there, and some push cuts, and we'll see how it goes. So our little bowl type project has turned into a hollowing project because of this lip right here. There's no way I can get an easy wood tool in there or a bowl gouge or anything like that, because that's going to be hanging out so far. This is going to be dangerous. I can't tilt that in because this winds up going over there too, right? So we had to hook the hollowing system up. But so far, as far as the shape goes, I'm really pleased with it. This is still going to be a rough turn. We're going to turn it the second time after it dries out. But what I liked most was it comes here, and up here on top, you can see it starts to curve a little bit in towards this lip up here. Now, we tried to save the bark on here, and a couple pieces have fallen off, so we'll worry about that later. But again, ugly's good. So we have no way to hold this to keep it from flying off right now. So we have to start slow. I've got my remote over here with me if anything goes wrong. I also have an emergency switch underneath the lathe I can hit. So we'll turn this down slow and low. Don't put my hand out over that or I'm going to be in trouble. Turn her on and bring up the speed. I'm using a 1/4 inch cutter on here, and it's really just a scraper, but it has 5% cobalt in it, so it really is good. But we're going to get chatter, we're going to get noise, so I'm going to just take it slowly and just do a little cut at a time. I drilled this hole, by the way, by doing a series of larger and larger holes. I started off with about a 1/2 inch bit and worked my way up to a 1 inch drill bit. Something like this, you just want to take your time. Once we get the mass removed out of this end, I'm going to leave it about 1.5 inches thick, but we'll be able to pick the speed up a little bit more, which will make life better, and you'll lose that low rumble in the background. Just going to take a while. This has been a tedious and white knuckle experience so far because of that big wing hanging out. I've even switched cutters. I moved to a carbide Mike Hunter #2 Hunter cutter because this thing slices rather than that scraper I was using, which scraped, which put too much pressure on the wood, caused too much vibration, and it risked falling off of here. Ideally, and I need to talk with Brent from Robust because he makes one, is I need a center steady. And let me stop this to show you. A center steady is a ring that goes around this whole thing, and it's got wheels on either side. So it supports the wood on these sides as it's turning, so any pressure you're putting in is going against the wheels. Now, it might not even work on this one because I only have this little bitty bit of wood right there, and that might not even allow it to run true. So my goal was to hollow this all the way down to here, right? Well, what do they call it? Design modification? We might have one. I don't know. I do know I need to hollow this out enough to get down to where I drilled that hole in there in the beginning. And the critical part is I'm trying to sneak in on these edges, and you can see that they're rough from where I use the Forstner bit. So I have to be very careful. So I'm trying to sweep my way up into them. But anyway, I'll keep working on this, and I'll be putting in my mind the ideas of what our design modification might be. as you can see from my laser dot, that's where my cutter is right now. So I've got about the same depth on the bottom as I do on the sides. This is a good 12-inch pot here, and so I'm leaving about 1.5 inches of thickness. I got a little more to do because I don't know if you can see inside of there, but we've gotten pretty deep and I've almost got the shape finished. I did switch to a different type of tool rest. This is a box rest, which is really cool. It's flat and it reaches in, so it takes away some of the vibration from the bar, which is really cool. Brent at Robust makes these. I also sell them on my website. They're very handy to have. They work with any hollowing system you can find. So all I need to do now is I'm just going to make a few more passes, get this hollowed out all the way, and then we're going to bag this sucker. This is one massive, ugly piece of wood. I hope this works out, but you never know until you try. So I'm going to take some of the shavings down here, throw them in the bag. I'm not going to do a whole bunch. Learned from Ron Fleming, phenomenal turner and one of my mentors, that if you use plastic bags, you really don't need shavings. All you have to do is come out once a day or every other day, take the piece out of the bag, reverse the bag, it shakes out all the moisture, and then you put the bag back in. So that's worked for him in Oklahoma for 40 years, and what am I to argue with? You know, the guy's world famous. So I'll just take this down, wrap it up, and so that is the first step on how you turn a Redbud crotchwood bowl, I guess. Well, until next time, which might be 3 or 4 months before this dries out, keep turning.
Tim's American Beauty was made by Robust Tools, America's premier lathe manufacturer. Quality hardened tool rests and live centers too. Robust. Built to turn wood. Enjoyed for a lifetime.
Easy Wood Tools, best in class carbide wood turning tools.